Hey everybody, and welcome to another Sunday hobby video. Today we're going to be talking about Zenithal Highlighting. Zenithal Highlighting, what is that, you might ask? Well, it's a way of priming your minis in such a way that you actually can see all of the highlight and shadow areas. This is actually one of the ones you'll see me priming in just a few seconds, but you can see clearly how when I'm looking straight down at it, you got all this white. That's to represent the sun shining down on it, and then all the black, when you tilt it this way, is all these shadow areas where the sun's not hitting it. So you're going to want to grab the following tools for this job. You're going to want your airbrush. You're going to want a mask. You're going to want some rubber gloves. You're going to want a all-built, all-based mini. This is my Citadel Ranger I've just got put together. This basing material I've got on here is just some decorative sand and aquarium rocks that I picked up at Dollar Tree. Well, they used to be $1, but you know, Dollar Tree raised their prices a couple months ago. So I'm thinking you can probably get enough to be able to do to like 2,000 minis for like under $5-6. I just bought like 2 bags of the sand and 2 bags of the aquarium rocks. Done about 1,000 minis so far with these, and I still got tons left. I probably got enough to go out for another 1,000. I think when I finally run out, I'll actually count how many minis I did with that basing material. Alright, so you got airbrush, glove, mask, painted and assembled mini. You're also going to need some black primer. My black primer of choice is Vallejo primer. I thin this with a little bit of water so it will flow easier. It's just like basically whenever I mix my paints, this little section down here of the airbrush below the reservoir, actually if I turn it like this you can see it better. See, there's a little space down there where the needle is. I leave that about full. I leave that full of water, then I top about halfway up with paint. Put my finger on the end, give the trigger pull a couple times. That's why I'm wearing the gloves so I don't get paint everywhere. Just let it go and it will bubble up in here to get mixed. You might want to take like a toothpick, give it a stir, some more bubbles. You know, make sure that paint and water is fully mixed up. But that's easy. Just a little stir and a couple burbles, and you're ready to go. Now, and I'll show you this before I show you in the video. What I'm doing for my black is I start underneath and I give it like this. Spray it from underneath at this angle. Alright, you see here in the video, I'm giving it a good spray, spraying it down, getting all the way around the sides. And I come up and I do the sides, and the top, and I get all the rest of the spaces. Once I got everything done in the black, I let this sit for an hour. That's to allow the black paint to fully dry. It won't be fully cured and stuck to the mini at that point, but the outer surface will be dry enough that you can spray paint over with the white and that won't reactivate. And that's when you'll have the white and the black mix, and you'll have like a brown, you'll have gray. I know my colors. I know my color theory. It'll start turning gray and it'll look really wet. If you see that at all once you first put a layer of white on, you don't see it coming up white, you see it coming up gray, stop. You don't want to get the paint to reactivate and mix and ruin details. Stop, let it dry for another hour, come back, try dusting it again. Now when I do this, I set my mini down on the box on the floor, and I get my paint all ready, and I just come up from like a foot above it and dust it over, doing like a 30-35 degree angle here. And once I get one spot done, I give it a rotate, and I just keep moving it around until I got the white as bright as I want it, as I like it. And I'll let this sit, and I let these sit, and I let them dry for 24 hours so that the paint is fully dried, everything's stuck together, everything's cured, and then yeah, I'll come in and I'll start painting. I've got this one. I'm started with the bases because I was just testing some ideas out, and the base is started with the purple, with the neon purple glow paint that I like to use. And I'm still debating whether or not this should be a Black Templar, a Crimson Fist, an Imperial Fist, or a Death Watch. A lot of different cool things I could possibly pull off with that. But I'm still debating on which army this is going to go into. I'm almost thinking it's going to go into the Crimson Fist, so I can pull my ones that are armed with the bolters and the grenade launchers. I want to put them into my Death Watch. So I think these are going to go in to replace the Crimson Fist, so I can pull 3 out and put them over into the watch. They get cycled up. But yeah, that is how I do it. Now, you notice in the video I was doing this all in my bathroom. That's because I live in an area that is very humid most of the year. Also, I don't really have a spot that's outside that's safe and secure. You know, these minis don't cost, you know, they're GW minis. It's not cheap. So I don't want to leave them sitting outside, especially for 24 hours to dry. So what I'll do is I will just go into my bathroom, shut the door, put a box somewhere where I can catch all the overspray, and I just prime with my airbrush. If I was using rattle cans, I would not be doing this inside the house because there's a lot of chemicals in the propellant of the spray can that don't get caught by wearing a mask. A mask is going to catch the paint particles. That way you don't have what I like to call painter's nose. Before I started wearing this mask, yeah, the paint was up in here, and it was nasty clearing stuff out of there, and I don't want to think of the damage that I did to my lungs if I was pulling that much out of my nose. So yeah, don't be messing with airborne paints in an enclosed space without a proper ventilation, without a proper fan being able to pull and suck everything out, and also wearing a mask to double. What I would love to have to be able to do priming indoors is I would love to have a painter's spray booth. I'd love to get one of the ones that actually folds up. That way I could set it in the bathroom and be able to have that double security of the fan catching anything. But you know, basically a painter's table is designed to catch everything. It's got the backdrop already built into it. It's got a air filter, and a fan that sucks all the air across the air filter. And it's designed so you're spraying towards that fan and filter, so the paint's just going to continue on in that direction and get through the filter. Definitely, if you have the ability and space for one of those, get one. It's probably going to be one of my next upgrades I'm going to have for my painting setup here. Get that, and still be in a room with a fan going. Be in a room, have a mask on. Keep safety for your lungs, and yeah, don't use rattle cans outside. But you can do this process with rattle cans outdoors. You're just going to need a can of black spray paint. You're going to need a can of white spray paint, and you're just basically spraying from underneath. Get everything there. Then do the sides, the top, let that black dry, give it another good hour, come back, test with a dusting of white. If that white starts to mix, let your primer paint dry for a little while longer, come back in, dust, and just spray from above, about a foot up, and let that white gradually build up, give you those good gradients, that good transition. And this lets you sit there and see where the shadows and the highlights are when you're painting the mini, because you're like, oh, I'll take my base coat, my darker base coat, and I'll go in over all the blacks, and I'll go with my lighter base coat over all the whites, and I'll do some transitions and all this stuff. This is a good helping tool to get you there. The other thing is, I'm a speed painter, and I use this and thin down paints as well as the contrast paints, and I can just go and put a layer over. And as long as that layer is nice and translucent, I'll still see all the gradients, all the shadows that I've added here by doing the Zenithal highlight. Those will be seen through my translucent paint, and I won't have to spend all the time learning how to wet blend, which I really should do at some point. I need to learn how to wet blend. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. I know I'm saying I'm using the black Vallejo. I got my golden acrylic white. A lot of other people out there like to use Liquitex. I have used Liquitex. I just hate that the screw top gets paint in it. It gets gunky. It's hard to seal. It starts getting chalky after a while. It's a great bottle. it's impossible to put back together. That's why I just like this twist off nozzle. So I just twist it, open it up like a Gatorade bottle. When I'm done, twist it back shut, and it's good. I don't have to worry about making sure that I've got that screwed back on properly. It screws back on properly every time. So yeah, I think I've hit all my points. I'm good for now. I'll see you next Sunday with another hobby video. Peace.